right, I wanted to talk a little bit more about this question as to whether or not Jews should be celebrating Thanksgiving. The same question applies to the 4th of July, also observances of Memorial Day and as well as Veterans Day. Those are, I guess Labor Day too, but I don't think Labor Day is really holiday. President's Day. President's Day is another example. Are these days, falling under Isra of Avodah Zarah? We have to, first of all, from a halachic standpoint, why do I choose to follow poskim who do permit these celebrations, and even say it's a good thing to do? We have to understand a few things about the difference between, you open up Maseches Avodah Zarah, and it says, you can't, Lifnei Deihem, Shloisha Yamin. One major question we have to ask, halachically speaking, the Mishnah in Avodah Zarah says, before heathen holidays, 3 days, you're not allowed to do business with heathens and so forth. The question is, are the non-Jews who are our neighbors and friends, are they heathens? I would move to say no. We don't have heathens in the way that they had in ancient times. I would even go so far as to say that members of religions that have more of a form of Avodah Zarah are not the heathens that we're talking about in ancient times. First of all, the vast majority of religions today are essentially monotheistic. We have a much worse problem from atheists than from, for sure, Christians, Muslims. Even Hindus are really essentially monotheists. They're just they just believe in different avatars of the one God. Really, if you study, all right, you can discuss. There's different types of Hinduism. Hinduism is a very extremely diverse group of religions. Really, it's almost like a family of religions in a certain sense. But let's put that aside. But they're not the ancient Romans who were crucifying Jews in the street. They're not Nazis. They're not communists, the atheist communists like like Stalin. These aren't the people that we're dealing with today. We're dealing with good people who have had the influence of our Torah to believe the essential truths: thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not steal, and so forth. We have tremendous fellowship with them, and really, essentially, we could discuss the differences in theology, but we're not dealing with people like in ancient times. So it's not so simple that you can just apply whatever the Mishnah says. Even we're talking about the Mishnah. What the Mishnah says, we're talking with the dealings with Roman pagans, and applying that to today's Christians, Muslims, and so forth, it doesn't work. It's not true. Even if they are worshiping idols, they're not killing, they're not stealing. B'shat nefesh, meaning if people do these things, they are clearly committing a crime against society that society punishes when people commit such crimes. And so we're not dealing with heathens today. And it's, from a moral standpoint, to assume that when someone of a different faith says we should set aside a day where each people of each religion or no religion at all should set aside time to give thanks to God for all of the bounty that He has given us, and that they humbly invite us, all Americans, to partake and participate in a day of thanksgiving and praise to the Creator. The mere fact that this person might have had a different theology than we have doesn't mean that by participating in this we are thereby adopting their faith, because they're not prescribing to us to do so in accordance with their faith, but that each American, according to their own faith, is invited to do such a thing, and they're not required to do such a thing. That's also an aspect of Thanksgiving. There is no requirement to do anything. When Lincoln established Thanksgiving, he said, "I invite my fellow citizens." He didn't say, "I'm making a decree." He actually did not make any law at that time. It was an executive proclamation, but it was not signed into law until the 20th century, and the observance of the holiday being signed into law is only by virtue of the fact that federal buildings are closed and so forth on the state. Nothing to do with how you should spend your time. It's just that the federal offices and so forth, the post office, stuff like that is closed. That's all it is. And that's all the federal government really has power to do. The federal government can't tell Kmart that they have to close on Thanksgiving. We live in a very extremely free society, and for that purpose, we should be thankful. We have a great deal what we are obligated to render thanksgiving to and for. Now, the fact of the matter is, for us, every day should be Thanksgiving. Every day, 3 times a day, we say Moedim Anachnu Lach. Every weekday, we say Mizmor L'Seida. Every day, we say Hoydel Hashem Kir B'Shmoi. Hoydel Hashem Ki Tov Kidal B'Chaskai. That's in our daily liturgy. But to set aside one day to focus on that and to have a Sudai Saidah, I don't see how anyone can say that there's anything problematic about it. Now, Jews had lived in America since before this country was founded. It seems that the very first European to step foot on this country was probably Jewish, one from Columbus's sailors. One of the sailors, I don't remember his name, who was Jewish, was the first one from Columbus's ship to set foot in America. It's not the United States, but in the New World as it was discovered at the time and so forth, not talking about the Vikings and so forth. And of course there are theories that Native Americans also come somehow from the lost tribes of Israel, but that's plainly not true because they were here well before that, but maybe some of them were. I have to answer this.